let's jump right in. Let me know if the volume is good for the game. I don't know if it's gonna be loud or not. Because whenever I leave the screen, it like pauses the game, so... Is the music playing? Okay, maybe... That's very quiet. I think we gotta like turn it up a little bit. Sorry, guys. Alright, welcome to the Isle of Maligree. I'm gonna mispronounce names, and I am so sorry. In this game, your choices matter, which means I'm probably gonna accidentally kill people, because it's me. We know how I am when choices happen. The decisions you make may result in unique interactions otherwise missed. And remember, there are no wrong choices. We'll see. We'll see how many people I accidentally kill. Alrighty. Many years ago, people discovered they could gain great power by making deals with spirits from other realms. This newfound temptation, as likely innocent as it is malignant, sorry, I can't speak tonight, preys on the minds of those who can grasp it and strikes fear into those who cannot. As accords are struck, the influence of arcane entities continue to bleed further and further into this world. You work for the mainland police as an investigator. Okay. As arcane mixes with organized crime, the need for people like you has never been higher. But your latest case is different. It started when you heard a radio transmission from a distant Isle of Maligree. I'm mispronouncing that and I am so sorry. A little creature. They reported a missing person, and in the moment, you felt a strange wave of deja vu. Out of curiosity, you checked the record room and found multiple similar reports, all of them written in your own hand. Yet you don't remember any of them. It seems nobody else does either. So now you find yourself on a boat, bound for the island with nothing but questions. Somebody there must know what's causing this. You just hope you can solve this case before you forget. But first you must remember yourself. Alright, what am I? Oh! Okay. What are we going to be? I didn't know there was like a class to choose, or a fate. That's what it is. Let's see. Oracle. To be an oracle is to give your mind to the arcane, to let it be pushed and pulled by the erratic nature. You are blessed with adaptability like no other and the power of foresight. Some see this power as a gift, but you are not so naive. You know what can happen to the minds of those who expose themselves to the spirits so freely. The madhouses are filled with those like you, but you are determined to not make the same mistakes. Great opportunity requires great risk after all. Okay. Arcane talent. On one of your past cases, you caught a fledgling demon causing chaos. Instead of banishing the creature, you instead make a pact with it. Now, Alistair. Okay. First off, we get a little creature friend. Name is Alistair. We kind of might do this one, guys. I'm sorry. There's a creature. Now, Alistair, your demon companion, is in your service until your death, however soon that may be. While not exactly the ideal assistant, their gifts with the arcane are undeniable, and although you never tell them, it's nice to no longer be alone. You couldn't smuggle them aboard. Oh! Okay, so we can't take them with us to the island. You couldn't smuggle them aboard the boat to Maligree without people knowing, so now you need to find a quiet place to summon them. Okay, never mind. We get to summon them. The last one is Technician. The arcane is not the only source of wonders, so too does the spark of electricity provide. You've always had an uncanny way with machines. You can build and repair them with nothing but scrap. You've always been good at telling how a machine works just by looking at one, even if you've never seen one like it before. When you hear the electrical buzz of one of your works coming to life, you cannot help but feel a connection to something greater. Okay, well, I'm sorry. We're being a little creature. Okay. Arcane talent. Okay, now we have to choose our points that will get me killed. So I think maybe that. Hang on, let's. Rabine. But let's see what we need. I think I need that perception. That's like a big thing in D&D. That's how I saved us from many, many things. Was my looking at things when everyone was rolling ones. Let's see. Intelligence. Again, we're arcane talent, so we might as well just go heavy with that, maybe? Maybe? Yeah, let's just do that. Why not? What's the worst that can happen, right? You awaken to the sound of waves washing against the rock. The air is thick with mist, and the calls of seabirds pierce through the salty sea air. Looking around, you find yourself sat on a cold wooden bench which lines one side of a sea vessel. Okay. Hazily looking left towards the back of the vessel, you spot an arcane ale pile rotating madly within its cage, humming them with magic and acting as the vessel's engine. Oh. I don't know what that is. Much closer, you see other passengers, most wrapped in blankets to fight against the cold, but some sit oddly upright, dressed in suits, briefcases by their side. A radio crackles to life. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the misty Isle of Maligree. We will soon be ready for you all to disembark. Just before you leave, do make sure to take all of your luggage with you, and remember, with people disappearing as of late, you should mind that you don't stay out alone at night. Why is that wiggling? That's ominous. The radio dies down once more. Looking right, there isn't much to see but the captain's cabin and the light emanating from a nearby lighthouse that seems to effortlessly carve away at the mist. Like a moth to the flame, the vessel mindlessly trails towards it. Then suddenly, as if from nowhere, the town lights of Maligree itself pierce through the mists, and the vessel corrects its course. The town itself stretches across most of the visible shoreline, sharing the space amongst jagged rocks and sprawling thickets. Through the mist, it's hard to make out what looms further inland above the town. However, you think the vague silhouette of a forest tree line. You see the docks of Maligree fast approaching. On them, various figures linger, some waiting to greet newcomers, some with bags of their own, likely to board the ship after you. Oh, I guess we'll just be creepy and look at someone. You turn to look back at the other passengers, catching the eye of an older woman who smiles at you. You look tired, dear. The mist does that, you know. My grandson Peter lives out here. I wish he would come visit me more, but instead I'm forced to come to him. He's a wonderful painter, but out here I do worry for his health. Can you tell me about this place? Well, this has always been a place of power, but it wasn't always like this. My son, who used to live here, told me that this island was a paradise before the mists got so bad. Okay, so something with the mist. I bet you it's like demons or something. Like Silent Hill. Oh my gosh, it's Silent Hill. Can't be good for buildings, all that water in the air. Before you can ask another question, you were cut off by the sound of the engine. The sound of hissing steam and magic discharging overwhelms the boat, a sign that marks the voyage end. The arcs coming from the engine, like most magic, cannot be seen directly, but as after images in one's mind. The boat's crew stay far away, no doubt aware of what would happen if a arsing surge of magic would hit them. The passengers stand as the boat's gangplank lowers slowly but surely. Your luggage in hand, you feel cobblestone underfoot once more. You make sure to account for your belongings, which consist of some basic supplies, clothes, and various tools of the trade, along with the slip of paper you were given directing you to your lodgings. Okay, so this is how I get to my items. Okay. Oh, wait, I lose an intelligence. That's not cool. uh. As you move amongst the crowd of people, you cannot help but notice a black motor car, which growls to a stop near the edge of the crowd. Its sleek design seems out of place here. Its door opens, revealing a young woman in a neat black uniform, her brown hair tied back into a ponytail. Oh. No, I failed! Aura passed. You see an unnatural glint in her eyes before she turns to face you directly. She directly heads towards you, extending a hand. Salutations, you must be the mainland investigator that was sent to look into the missing persons cases. I can't even do that. Oh, I'm failing. Apologies, my name is Melody, the Arcane Authority of Maligree. I do hope that we can get along here. Perhaps if you're up for it, I could take you to my office to discuss matters and enjoy some tea. Am I gonna Oh! Oh, what a shame. She rubs the back of her neck for a moment. Let me take you to your lodgings then. It'll be faster if you ride with me. And that way, maybe I can point out some places that might interest you on your way. Okay. I just want to summon my little creature. Melody brightens, heading over to the motor car door, opening it for you. Oh, how nice. What a nice lady. You show her the piece of paper with the instructions on how to reach your lodgings. Oh, you don't live that far from my office anyways. Climb in and I'll put your luggage in the back. Getting into the vehicle, you cannot help but notice the subtle, sweet fragrance and well-kept interior of the car. Various dials, ready to hum into life, sit before you as moments later Melody climbs in herself, closing the door. The engine of the motor car roars to life, dials dancing as Melody takes off along the dockside. The motor car bounces only slightly as the cobblestone beneath challenges its suspension. Before long, you find yourself moving quickly through dimly lit streets away from water's edge. Melody, eyes still focused on the road ahead, seems more relaxed now. Is it because the fog was near the water and we're getting away from it? Did you know that some of these buildings are hundreds of years old? Maligree itself has been around a lot longer than most people realize, although it has of course changed a lot over its history. There even used to be 2 islands before the other one sank. Oh. Modern day Maligree is complicated. What once were clear seas are now shrouded with memory, muddling mists. And of late, even people are being completely forgotten. Okay, so the mist is like messing with the memories of people, but people still live here? The police refuse to do anything about it. They won't even give me what I need to fix it myself. Her grip on the steering wheel tightens and then relaxes. It's not all bad though. Plenty of interesting places around here. That building over there, for example, belongs to the once mortician, now pharmaceutical Spade family. Can I do this? I don't think I have that. Hang on. Wait, I do have a one. Hang on. I might be able to do this. Hang on. Actually, it was only Craymore's missing brother who disliked their old business, from what I understand anyways. I'm just failing all the time. Well, currently Craymore Spade runs the place. Used to be him and his brother, but, well, his brother is one of the missing victims. Oh. I can barely remember what he looked like, only that he was the face of their organization. With him gone, less and less people do business there. It truly is a shame. Ah, here we are. The motor car comes slowly to a halt, dials dying along with its engine. I'll go grab your things. Moments later, she returns your bags in hand. My office and, well, my home is just down there to the left. Feel free to pop in tomorrow morning. We can discuss the case and I can tell you what I know then. Good night. She waves a goodbye as she returns to her motor car. As the motor car drives away into the night, you pick up your bags and make your way into the building that will be your home. The building you arrive at is a old cramped home sandwiched between two similarly bleak houses. As per the instructions, you find the key taped to the inside of a small mailbox besides the front door. Letting yourself in, the air inside feels musty and the walls drab. You're just thankful you don't have to carry your bags around anymore. The narrow home has a kitchen and a hallway downstairs and a larger room upstairs serving as both bedroom and study. As you make your way upstairs, you find the room is already filled with someone else's things. Yeah, that's a little weird. Although, with the layer of dust on top of most of it, it's clear that it's not been used recently. A set of police-issued boots stand in the middle of the room. So, this is a police person's room? A radio set, seemingly in disrepair, sits by the only real window. And various odd-looking books lay stacked up near the corner of the room. Okay, we need to summon Alistair. I'm sorry. I want the little creature. You clear some space on the floor and ready the summoning ritual. Lighting the 5 candles that make up the newly drawn pentagram, you begin to chant. One of the candles blows out. Oh? Hello, Dev. Welcome, welcome. For a second, you see a spinning demon floating in place. Then, as quickly as it arrived, it darts into the nearby desk. Oh! There he is! The desk drawer slides ajar. The lesser demon. Ah, boss. Was wondering when you'd do that. Say, this is quite the downgrade, eh? Couldn't you find a better place than this? Yeah, you're right. The gray really suits my color scheme. Plus, I bet the mold here tastes great. Okay, he eats mold. They eat mold. Gotta say though, the magic sure is thick here. Boss, it might be easier to first tell ya what isn't strange. But I'll try my best to find the most interesting stuff. Hehe. You watch as the drawer slowly slide. Why? I wanted him to come with me. You shake your head a little, but you know they are ultimately harmless. You've known the demon for some time now and have gotten used to some of their quirks. One of which is that they dislike being seen directly, although you're not sure why. I mean, honestly, I feel that. I feel that creature. Either way, they don't eat much and are very useful when bound to you. At least, as long as the mainland doesn't find out. So, like, it sounds like this world has to deal with magic, but I can't have my demon with me? That's not fair. Why can't people have their demons out and about? You turn your attention elsewhere in the room. I bet you, if I was a technician, I could repair that radio. You walk over and examine the damaged radio set. It's strange. It almost looks as if it's been dismantled purposely rather than accidentally. You try to turn it on, but nothing happens. Giving up, you turn your attention to the window. It looks out over a large portion of Lower Maligree. In the dim light, you can make out the docks from where you arrived, and of course, beyond that, the lighthouse. I have a feeling that lighthouse is going to play a very big role. Something about it draws your eye. A moment later, you blink, breaking out of your trance. You turn your attention elsewhere in the room. Boots. You walk over and examine the boots in the middle of the room. Ooh, what do I get? What do I get? Ah, yes, 18, let's go. You check the boots and compare them to your own. You know, these boots. They're standard issue for mainland investigators like yourself. Oh, so someone from the mainland was here before me. How did these get here? You check for a name tag, but to no avail. With nothing else to go on for now, you push them up against the wall, out of the way. You turn your attention elsewhere in the room. The books. You walk over and examine the stacks of books in the corner of the room. They range in topics and styles, but all seem relatively short. You look through a few of them, checking for any of the clues as to who left them. Almost all of them are from a personal collection, and judging from their covers, they seem to be from the mainland. Whoever left them here was likely not from the island. You turn your attention elsewhere. Go to sleep. So I'm wondering if a cop went missing. Hello, Priv, welcome. Feeling exhausted, you decide to turn in. As you change out of your clothes and test your new bed, you quickly find yourself falling into a deep sleep. Oh, that's the best. Like, instantly falling asleep in a comfy bed. We love that. We love that. When you wake, light streams through your window. As you pull yourself from your bed and get ready, you listen to the people going about their morning business outside. You hear busy footsteps, distant chatter, clanging from construction, and of course the sound of the birds. Today is your first chance to get a proper grasp on what is happening here. Pulling out your map, you look for places of interest. It's time to decide where to investigate. Okay, where are we going? That's Melody's office, police station, the gardens, painter's house. See, I want to go to these two places. I'm gonna go to the painter's house just because it's a painter and that's giving me like still life vibes. Which, fun fact, technically that was the second game I played for stream, but it was the first one I completely played through. My first game I played for stream was actually Fatal Frame 3. Oh, it's the old lady! Oh, that was loud. As you wander through the peaceful streets of Upper Maligree, you spot an old woman banging frantically at the door of one of the houses. She turns to look at you, panic in her eyes. You recognize her. You met on the boat. Yeah, it's the old lady. I think my grandson is inside. I can smell a fire. I can't open the blasted door. Oh, she said her grandson was like a painter or something. As you get closer, you too begin to smell the smoke. Oh no. I'm not strong and I'm not smart. Oh no. Oh. Well. You try to ask the old woman where her grandson might keep a spare key. She glares at you, panic overwhelming her. If there were spare keys, I wouldn't be trying to knock this door down. Okay, maybe I'll be strong. I passed. You slam your shoulder against the door. It splinters. A second slam does the trick and the door breaks apart. I guess in like every game I'm just strong. That's just the thing. I talk to creatures and I'm very strong. It's lore accurate. Heat washes over you from the flaming hallway. You can't help but cover your face. From behind you, the old woman calls for her grandson. The only response is the roar of the fire and the splintering of wood eager to give way. You need to go in there. You need to rescue my boy. I mean, let's go. Oh. You heroically run into the flames, hand shielding your eyes. The flames lick at the edge of your watering vision. You let out a scream as white hot pain shoots up your back, the fire taking its toll. Uh-oh, I think I died. No, I got a burn wound. And I got an achievement. Instinctively, you drop to the ground and roll in a bid to extinguish the flames. You break through into a large room, which the flames have yet to fully envelop. At its center, a canvas rests upon an easel. Scrawled upon it is a message written in now weeping oil paint. Melody, my house is soon to burn down. I've decided to send to the cabin on the lake as to avoid the flames. It is a shame, as I shall deeply miss access to the local bakery. But such is fate. The message's malediction reads, "Your painter." Are you kidding me? I know, I just risked my life and I burnt my back for a painting. Who is this guy? Despite your bemusement, you grab the canvas and turn back. Oh, I'm taking the canvas with me. Take that easel. Those easels are expensive. Using it as a shield. Oh, I'm using it as a shield. Never mind. That's smart. You race down the hallway through the shearing heat, flames licking at your heels. At last, fresh air meets your lungs. Coughing, you fall to the ground. The adrenaline coursing through you finally extracts its cost. You feel your head throbbing and vision dimming. You jerk awake, and both the canvas and old woman are gone. Stole my canvas! I see frantic neighbors throw buckets of water at the flames, but no one asked me how I'm doing. Their efforts seem futile. There's little left for you to do except move on. Can't wait to tell Alistair what happened. I guess I should visit Melody and like tell her, hey, he wrote this to you, but I don't have it. You arrive outside a grand building made of blackish brick. Small wall plaque sits next to a large a nice carved door. On it are inscribed the words House of the Arcane Authority. Knocking on the door, you wait until you hear movement on the other side. The door opens, revealing the young woman you saw at the docks. Oh, it's you. I hope we get to talk properly. Please come in. As she leads you inside, you can't help but take in the building's grand design. You spot a small framed picture of a younger Melody smiling in glee, standing next to a grumpy-looking man. Wooden furnishings, plants, and papers, while seemingly organized, fill most of the space. She leads you through a hallway into a large study, adorned with countless bookshelves. She gestures towards a chair, and I stand up. Please, take a seat. I'll fetch some tea. No, I stand. As you wait for her to return, you take a look around. This place has the distinct weight of a building that stood for many years. And yes, the odd sensation of power, the kind only accumulates in places where the arcane is often practiced. Here you are. Hands you a cup and saucer before sitting down opposite you. I suspect you're here because of the disappearances. Something strange is happening on this island. Every now and then someone vanishes, leaving nothing but their shoes. Their shoes? Why their shoes? Weird. Then after a few days, not even their closest loved ones can remember them without the aid of a picture. I've already started trying to find out who is behind this. Whoever it is must be incredibly gifted in the arcane. But after a few days, any useful information is forgotten alongside the victim. What makes it even harder is that half of the people on the island either think I'm responsible or blame me for not preventing it. Which in turn only makes it all more difficult for me to get anywhere. The police, who should be my closest allies, are instead my greatest hindrance. That sounds about right. They restrict my access, withhold information from me, and undermine my goals whenever possible. And what do? Nothing. Just collect the remains, do the same tests, and get the same answers. It's insanity, and it's only getting worse. That's why I need someone like you. The police here are fools. I mean, I'm a copper too, I think. Work with me, and I'm sure we can solve this case together without them. Okay, sure. Brilliant. In that case, let me tell you my plan. The latest victim is a young lady named Larissa Patreon, sorry. Her family lives near the upper end of town and are understandably upset at the police for doing nothing. As a result, they have refused to give up her shoes to the police, which are, of course, all that was left of her when she vanished from her home. Now, if I was able to get my hands on those shoes, I might be able to get a trace on whoever was casting the spells needed to do such a thing. Worst case, I might be able to find out where the bodies go. Either way, getting those shoes is the priority. You'll need to get them before the police do. While the Patrians don't really like me and they hate the police, you could be a new hope for them. They will trust you. The faster you can acquire those shoes, the better the chances of me getting something tangible out of them. As you finish your tea, Melody gives you directions to the victim's house. Good luck and watch yourself. Okay. Why can't I? Oh, only available. Oh, and then it's like the hours. Okay. So, like... Okay. So it's 9 o'clock right now, and then this will take an hour. And then it will be like 11. I mean 10, I'm sorry, I can't count. This will take 2 hours. Okay, available until 1800. Let's do this one. Okay. Oopsies, I might have messed up. I just noticed those things. You find yourself drawn to the center of Maligree, an endless, sprawling park made from a collection of verdant gardens. Messed up. In the corner, it said, like, how many hours it takes for each event, and the day is, like, going on and on. So I probably messed up. The moment you set foot over its boundary, you feel an immense power. An ancient natural power. You follow one of the gravel pathways, occasional lampposts sporting flyers for the spirit fair. Before long, the garden envelops you. Green plant life spreads out before you in every direction. As you continue down the path, you come upon a grassy meadow flattened by many feet. The skeleton frameworks of tents and stalls are scattered inside a wide enclosure. Marking the entrance, a banner, already adorned with lights, reads, "The Maligree Spirit Fair." Okay. Oh! You make your way towards the entrance when suddenly a large man blocks your path. On his face, he wears a white mask with one golden dot above his eye. Fine day, isn't it? How can I help you? His voice is as smooth as honey and as soft as silk. Arms bearing gargantuan muscles burst from a sleeveless white vest. He looks like he could lift a tree with one hand. Wow, you're jacked. He crosses his arms. While I appreciate your admiration, I must endeavor to ask, what is your purpose for being here? Do you own a stall at the fair, perchance? Hold me. Sorry. Ah, then are you perhaps here for the fair? Yes, I'd hope to have a look around. Ah, excellent. Unfortunately, the spirit fair only opens to the public tomorrow. Unless you are a tent or a stall owner, of course. Bane? Perhaps it is Bane? In the interim, I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have. He curls his biceps invitingly. I'm delighted you asked. The Spirit Fair is a Mengreen? Menagerie of arcane wonders. Each year, practitioners of magic gather from far and wide to celebrate the zenith of Maligree's power. There will be vendors, shows, food, a good time for anyone with an arcane mind. This year's fair will be the biggest and most marvelous in its history. His biceps invite further questions. What can you tell me? Well, the Spirit Fair has always taken place here in the center of Maligree's power. The city itself sits along a ley line, you see, which brings in enormous strength. Okay. The Spirit Fair was initially an attempt to contact things beyond the veil, but it has long since evolved into a simple celebration of magic. For contacting such beings is a foolish undertaking bound to cause only suffering. Well, guess what? I have a little creature. You don't. His biceps. Indeed, I would recommend acquiring one of Quinlan's signature masks. With the amount of magic being utilized tomorrow, mental shielding is recommended. And there is no better mental shielding than these masks. If you head there today, you might still be able to put in a custom order. Okay. He leans down, placing a hand in front of his mask as if to whisper. Tell him Chadwin sent you, and he'll surely give you your first mask at no expense. Tomorrow? I'll be helping with the security at the front, but later in the evening I have a show. Should you feel so inclined. He flexes his biceps again. I'll be in one of the back tents, the one with the symbol of huge arms out in front. I do hope to see you tomorrow. You return to the meadow. We need to go to that tent to get a mask. As you wander further into the gardens, a feeling of calm washes over you. In this part of the garden, brightly colored exotic plants release soothing scents, You start to lose track of time. Oh no. Meandering through the endless garden, you eventually find a peaceful pond, teeming with fish and surrounded by flowers. Taking a second to enjoy the moment, you relax on a shady bench, perfectly placed to overlook the pond. A discreet plaque on the backrest reads, GNUTP, a man is not dead while his name is still spoken. For a moment, you ponder at the word. Oh, thank you for the follow, Aman. Thank you. I hope you're having a great day. You spot a glint of something metallic. Reaching down, your hand grazes something cold. You pull up a black mask that was nestled beneath the bench. The mask itself is adorned with small silver bells on its side. Oh! Oh, that's cute! Ooh, a luck bonus? Oh. Yeah, I messed up. But at least we have the mask. That's cool. You stash it carefully within your bag. You spend a few more seconds looking into the pond. Shaking off the garden's tranquilizing influence, you stand up and head back the way you came. Feeling oddly refreshed, you reluctantly walk back to the city. We met a muscly man. What's this? Police, doctor. Maybe we can ask about the mask we found. In search of the bazaar, you quickly lose your way in the labyrinth alleys of Lower Maligree. As you stroll down yet another weaving passageway, you happen upon a sign marking the shop's entrance. Unlike the other wooden signs around, this one is much more elegant, a large carving of a mask. Oh, that was loud. Pushing your way inside, you hear a deep ring as the door pushes open. You find rows and rows of oddities. Most of them look handcrafted, but some seem imported from the mainland. Near the store counter itself, a display showing various exotic masks designed sit for all to see. As you arrive in front of the display, a voice speaks up from behind you. Fascinating, aren't they? Each one is unique, designed to fit the customer. And yet, they all offer the same thing, protection. You turn slowly to look at the figure. He wears a gray shirt and carries various carving tools. What is up with the color purple? Melody has like that purple brooch and her eyes are purple, and then this mask is purple. His vase, similar to the display, is adorned by a mask. The mask is simple but elegant, carved from a milky jade. They smile, set themselves behind the counter. Welcome to Baldwark Bazaar. My name's Quinlan. I deal in arcane trinkets, imports, and protection. Which one are you looking for? Oh, I should ask about the mask. You show him the black mask you found near the pond. Its small silvery bells jingle meekly. Fascinating. It seems like one of my designs, but I can't remember who I made the mask for. His shoulders drop. Unfortunately, whoever it was, they were dying. The mask paints the story of a tragedy. Cautiously, he hands it back to you. Be careful if you wear that to the fair. You don't know whose fate you're wearing. Oh! Interesting. Other than masks, I sell many arcane oddities, and occasionally I import artifacts for various companies in Menagerie. Everything's above board, though, I promise. The Arcane Authority is aware of every transaction I make, especially those that involve the mainland. Perhaps you're interested in trading something? No, thank you, I'm good. Very well. Well, if I'm honest, I think she's got a lot on her plate at the moment. I'm happy to help, of course, but she's not willing to make any kind of deal with me. Excluding the purchase of my masks, that is. He sighs deeply before waving his hands dismissively. I'm sure she'll find a way to manage. But I can say from personal experience, when the community is on your side, it makes a big difference. Do ask another question. He relaxes into his chair, looking you up and down. Of course, first masks are always free. My arcane protection is ultimately a community service after all. I receive donations from some of the kinder folks around here, the ones who deem it important that all are safe. Everybody deserves protection, don't you think? I must note that the protection I offer is only for the mind. A knife will harm you just as it normally would, but should someone try to harm your brain into confetti, you won't be caught lacking. Now, let me take a look at your face. He leans forward over the counter and, taking hold of your chin, turns your face to study it from every angle. Satisfied, he sits back down. Come back tomorrow morning before the spirit fair. I should have your mask ready by then. Would that suit you? Sounds perfect. Do ask another question. That's all I can ask, my dude. Safe travels. Step outside of the bazaar and back into the alleyways. Now you just need to remember your way out. We got a mask. Pog. It's gonna be like Tokyo Ghoul. Maybe I'll get a mask like... I just spilt my tea all over the place. Why am I like this? I need like a sippy cup or something. Oh, the victims! Making your way further inland to more elevated parts of Maligree, you notice something different about the buildings here. They take on more modern designs that remind you of the mainland. The shadows don't loom as much, and you find yourself in awe of the view from here. But as you approach the victim's house, signs of more sinister times start to make themselves known. The remains of shrines dedicated to the missing. Before long, you find one with candles still lit and flowers yet wilted. A wreath of flowers encircle a picture frame of an older teenage girl. The face matches the one you've seen in your case file, Larissa Petrian. The house besides the shrine is the one you've been sent to find. There he is! Hey boss, do you see that? Fools left that window open there in the attic for anyone to slip inside. If you want to sneak in without anyone knowing, that's the best bet. You nod. It's not exactly ethical, but the demon isn't wrong either. The shoes must be inside the building. No matter what, you need them. How's my agility? Oh. What's the worst that can happen? Don't nat one me. Don't nat one me. Oh! You begin to scale the building. Your hands move with deft precision as you pull yourself up along the brickwork and through the open window. The attic is dusty and only the stream of light from the window illuminates the space before you. A few boxes, some with sheets thrown over them, linger here. From below, you hear the faintest of movements. Oh god, they're inside. Suddenly, the trapdoor on the far side of the room opens. Light shines in from below and an older male voice calls out, but not to you. I'm looking for it, Isabel, but I doubt it's up here. If you can't find the locket in the next few minutes, we'll have to leave without it. The boat won't wait for us. You hear a deep sigh and perhaps something being muttered under their breath. God. Oh, don't nat one me. Oh, I passed. You quietly move behind one of the boxes, concealing yourself. Small light flashes around the attic. Thankfully, it does not illuminate you. The male voices calls out once more. Nope, not up here, darling. Proceeds to climb back down through the trapdoor, leaving you alone in the attic. You wait a few minutes as you hear the noises from below get quieter and quieter. The last noise you hear is the bump of a door being closed. Now you're alone in the house. You walk over to the trapdoor, open it, and make your way down into the home. The building itself has faint blue walls and white carpet you could sink into. All you need to do now is find the shoes and leave before they return. As you make your way into the main sitting room, you see a dozen framed pictures of the missing girl. Cards from friends, family, and neighbors stack up in a neat pile. As you begin to look around the room, something soft brushes up against the back of your legs. It's a creature. And begins to purr. The cat is more fluffy than anything else, has a blue ribbon around its neck, and looks at you with a grumpy expression. Can I pet it? You don't think the cat is particularly upset at you. It's simply made to look like this. Poor thing. The cat. Please. I did it. You reach down to pet the cat. She purrs and nuzzles into your palm. Yes. I got one luck. The creature wanders past you into the room before flopping down on the floor. You see a small black form poke its head out from the cat's shadow. Say, boss, you haven't fed me in a while. Any chance I could, No! Oh, come on. How am I meant to get strong if you don't feed me, boss? Sulking, you see his shadowy form slink away and feel a weight return to your pocket. How dare you, Alistair? We don't hurt other creatures. The cat meows technically. Continuing your investigation of the room, your eyes lock onto a pair of small shoes. They sit undisturbed in the corner. You doubt the family has moved them, too afraid of what might happen if they did. You reach forward, picking up the shoes. Pick up an item that gives you insanity? What do you mean? The shoes now bear an unmistakably evil aura that seems to grow as you watch them. Something is terribly wrong. Oh great, I'm gonna be like Edwin Lindsay. Oh my god. This is pretty much gonna be Internal Darkness, guys. We're gonna become Edwin Lindsay. Oh god. Please, why? Also, is my mic too loud? I think I'm too loud. You don't know how long you have before the family returns. With the shoes in hand, you decide it's best to leave now while you can. You make your way back up into the attic and climb down to the streets. No one saw me. Okay, let's give these shoes to Melody so she can deal with the insanity thing. Maybe I'll get my sanity back. The shoes in hand, you make your way to Arcane Authority's office. Your hand wraps against the intricate wooden door. Melody opens the door and looks at what you're carrying. Are those the shoes? She smiles, her excitement tangible as she opens the door for you. We'll hand them over. Let me have a look at them. Giving them a quick once-over, she nods, satisfied. Good job. These are the real deal. Oh, yes, I have some sanity. How did the family take it? They took it fine. She nods. I'm surprised they didn't make me roll for that. Honestly, that's a relief. The last thing I want to do is cause more suffering. Here, come inside and I'll show you the next part of the plan. She ushers you inside, shutting the door behind you. Stepping inside, you see a room full of arcane equipment. She sets the shoes on a metal disc inscribed with various indecipherable runes. Perfect. Over the next few hours, I'll examine these and hopefully glean something that can aid us. In the meantime, I wanted to talk to you about my partner. Or, I guess, our partner now. He's a painter, but more importantly, an oracle. And he's particularly sensitive to Malgree's blights. His visions have helped me so far. For example, it's how I knew you would be arriving when you did. It might not be a bad idea for you to meet him. I think his house burnt down. A look of concern crosses her face. House burnt down? What makes you think that? Listen, I have a burn mark on my back. Well, I know some things. You explain everything you witnessed at the painter's house. Oh, of course, he saw it coming. I was worried there for a second. I know about the lodge. It's up in the forest. I'll mark it on your map if you still want to go and see him. Otherwise, I'll see you tomorrow, hopefully with more answers. Stay safe until then. You're shown out of the building and find yourself once again on the dreary streets. Oh, this is 3 hours. I might as well. Oh my god, we're going to the cabin in the woods, guys. We're gonna find a princess in the basement. Following Melody's directions carefully, you make your way through the dense undergrowth, trying your hardest not to get lost. As if on purpose, the roots of a tree growing out and over the path only make the task all the more difficult. Eventually, the forest opens up onto a large lake. In the distance, on its far side, you see a cabin. You make your way along the edge of the lake. As you get about halfway around, you notice set up a small wooden dock, figure painting at an easel. Oh look! Purple eyes, purple bandana. Again, purple. Getting a bit closer, you see the figure stand, reaching out one hand in a stopping gesture. Halt your movement. Please stay where you are. The light is perfect. Just a little longer. The artist doesn't look at you as he frantically puts brush to canvas. Voila. With a flourish, he finishes his work. You must be the friend of Melody. I am. Please come and have a look at what I made. I've been working on it for the last hour or so. Walking over, you take a look at the painting. In brilliant oil paint, a figure that greatly resembles yourself is seen walking around the edge of the beautiful lake. This, my friend, is a painting. But more importantly, it is a vision of, well, now the past. I sure did, my friend, and I'm glad you came. For if you had not, I would have had the most terrible of headaches. Come and sit with me. He gestures to the air next to him. There is nothing there. Oh, the chair is gone. Did I bring a chair out here in the first place? He waves his hands dismissively. It is no matter. I know you're busy and will not stay here long. You have other places to be. Damien pauses, and for a moment, the peaceful sounds of nature takes over your senses. You hear the wind brush through the trees and the water lap at the edges of the lake. This place calms me. It is my retreat, and I suppose as my house has burnt down, this is my new home. Yeah, why did your house burn down? I don't know exactly what caused the fire to burn, but once I see it in my paintings, I know it will come to be. Or if it does not come to be, I lose a little part of myself. And at this point, I'd rather lose a house than myself. I mean, not wrong there. The annoying thing about being me is that I cannot control what I paint. I am Malgrie's voice. I paint what it's thinking about. Even if that is my own house burning. Despite his jovial tone, you suspect he mourns the loss of his house. And on that note, I have something to show you. Wait here. I will fetch my other works. He disappears into the cabin, returning with several canvases. He pulls out one to show you. You must have decided to work with Melody, yes? Take a look at what I drew earlier. Doesn't it look familiar? The painting depicts a picture of white shoes. You recognize them from earlier in the day. They are Larissa Prachan's. Sometimes I see these. When I do, it means there has been another victim. Maligree is saddened by their passing. There's something else. Something I was hoping you might be able to help me with. Maligree is trying to tell me something, but I don't understand. He shows you another painting, this one different. It shows a picture of a safe, hidden away behind a painting and a large desk. It must be important, but I do not know whose safe this is. I can tell from your face that you haven't seen it either. I will have to ask Melody if she knows anything. I would go and investigate, but unlike Melody, my arcane abilities are limiting to painting. Yeah. I fear I would wind up dead or worse. I mean, I haven't died yet. Insane. Listen, just don't grab the shoes and you'll be fine. Give them to Melody. She's like fine with that. But I have higher hopes for you. The painter looks up to a perfectly clear sky. The weather turns against you. Soon a storm will be upon us. You nod, still a little bemused by the painter, but decide to take his advice. Let's see. Go to the doctor's. While walking along the street, you notice a shop with a old worn hanging sign. It reads Spades Pharmaceuticals. Sorry, my throat. A small bell jingles as you open the door and head inside. At first, you don't see anyone behind the counter. Only rows and rows of bottles of various shapes and sizes. Behind one of the bottles, a goopy dark mass lingers. A familiar set of eyes wrapped by the glass. Boss, there's something funky coming from the back of this. Some kind of weird magic. You're about to ask more. From the back of the store floor, you hear footsteps. Hello, Anime. Welcome, welcome. Why do you have green?
Help is on the way, dear!
I will stretch and sip, thank you. It's weird he has green, but the other people had purple. Very weird. And Twitch is still showing as being unstable. I don't know what's going on with Twitch. Ah, a customer. How fascinating. What ails you on this fine day? Before you is a thin, lanky man, hair draped over a lab coat and a smile slightly too wide resting on his face. He stands with his hands awkwardly crossed, as though he doesn't know what to do with them. I feel that. Oh! Let me take a look at that. Oh dear, what happened? It's a long story. The doctor applies a selection of ointments and you relax as the pain from your wound lessens. You have to be more careful. The human body is a fragile mechanism. It only takes the slightest of nudges and the whole thing breaks. Ah, yeah, I don't have a burn wound anymore. Can I help you with anything? Well, and I don't have to pay him. Nice. He shuffles behind the counter. It's a pleasure to meet you, Bean. My name is Claymore Spade. Sorry, Craymore, not Claymore. My brother and I run this establishment. I do hope we can be of assistance. I've missed people coming here. He glances down at the wooden counter, awkwardly clearing his throat. Can I help you with anything else? No. He's gone. One of the victims of... well... just one of the victims. I miss him greatly. Can I help you? Ah, you must be a new arrival. The mist that you sailed through has some faint neurological effects. You can expect disorientation and, in some extreme cases, mild memory loss. It should pass on its own within 2 or 3 days. He taps his fingers on the counter as if playing a piano that you can't see. Although, I have a syrup that can aid recovery if you prefer. Doctor plucks a small brown bottle from the shelf behind him. He hesitates before putting it on the counter. If you'll stay a while and talk to me, it's on the house. I passed. You notice concern in his eyes. By fulfilling your request, he's worried you might leave. You suspect he's very lonely. Oh, he's just a sad boy. Sure, I have some questions for you anyways. He brightens up instantly. He offers the bottle and you take a quick sip. Feeling your mind clear immediately, you sigh in relief. Can I help you with anything more? No. I'm not the largest fan of magic, you see. When you weigh it up, it takes more from society than gives. Solemnly, he looks to the countertop. Instead, I practice the sciences, which is arcane in its own way. Why do you ask? You can? There's nothing back there. Sweat begins to bead on his forehead. Oh. I can't talk about it. You can't talk about the nothing? Correct. You stare at each other for an awkwardly long moment. Am I gonna do it? Nope. If you were really an investigator, you'd already know. Oh. The good doctor perks up, suddenly seeming quite enthusiastic. Really? My brother went missing. I was the one who found his shoes. At the time, I didn't know their worth. I've been trying to find him ever since. Or whatever remains of him. Have you spoken to the police chief yet? Well, if you're willing to keep a secret, I might be able to show you something. I can keep a secret. You're led around the counter and into the back of the shop. He's gonna show us the weird thing. Here you see various bookshelves and a desk in the... Wait. The desk. Wasn't there like a safe? Behind that, another door, this one made of metal. It's through here. Opening the metal door, you see on several shelves neat rows of shoes. Wait, what? On one side of the room, a small workshop has been set up for examining them, it seems. A wave of dread and sadness washes over you as the shoes seem to suppress your other emotions. Insanity? Well, we can just try it. Why not? What's the worst that can happen? Well, I'm gonna get insanity. You stare at the shoes, their presence boring back at you. A hand on your shoulder pulls you back to your senses and back into the room. But you feel a piece of you remain. I knew this was a bad idea. Are you okay? Those things have fermented into some kind of evil that I don't understand. You've got to be careful while you're there. Otherwise, you'll lose yourself. Well, how do I lose my sanity? Nothing to worry about. If there's something's worried about, if you're, like, Ah, please come by again soon. Probably not, my dude. I think that's all. As you head back to your lodgings, the heavens above Maligree. Cold, heavy rain. Ooh, Damien, the Oracle, was talking about how the weather's gonna change. Cold, heavy rain pelts the streets and the wind begins to whip up. You pull your coat tighter around yourself and quicken your step. You see other people scurrying along, now only lit by orange street lamps, the clouds above obscuring what was left of the evening light. As you glance over your shoulder, one person in particular stands out. A shadowy figure, bundled in dark clothing. They don't look at you directly, but you get a strange feeling. Corner after corner, they remain behind you. Pretending to take refuge from the rain, you slip into a nearby doorway. I don't like that heartbeat. The stranger draws level with you and walks past. Oh, thank God. Oh! And stops a few feet on and turns to look you dead in the eye. Investigator? No. They erupt into mad laughter. I've been sent to find you. The stranger slowly draws a short knife from their belt. Then, with no warning, they leap straight at you. My stats are so bad. This is difficult. I won't be able to do that. I guess I'm just gonna fight him. Hand to hand. 1v1. I passed. As the assailant thrusts the knife towards you, you strike their arm, sending the blow off course. Swinging forwards on instinct, you kick at their kidneys hard. Recoiling, they fall back in pain. Their knife clatters to the ground. As they stagger into the streetlight, you can see them clearly for the first time. Their mask hides their face, but doused in orange light, swarms of miniature tattooed eyes gaze at you passionately from the arms of an anonymous stalker. We go for the knife. I passed. Diving, you grab the knife before they can recover. Yeah, we got the cultist knife. Spinning around, you point it at the stranger. Hang on. What do I have? Oh, wait. I think I can do this. I passed. You brandish the knife menacingly at the stranger. You're under arrest. You will come quietly. They right themselves and smirk at you, spitting blood onto the ground. There's no way you'd use. Cutting them off, you smack the knife handle on their head with all your strength. They crumple to the ground, unconscious. Making sure they're out of the cold, you pick them up, because we are so strong. You sigh. It's going to be a long walk to the police station. By the time you get there, every part of you is fully drenched. Inside, the skeleton crew of officers look with concern as you slump the unconscious body of the stranger onto the ground. This jerk just tried to kill me. I think they're involved in the missing persons case. I'll be back in the morning to question them. The officers all stare at you, bewildered. They glance at one another before one of them raises their voice. Sorry, who are you? Impatiently, you quickly explain that you're in Maligree to investigate the missing persons cases. Showing them your investigator's badge is enough to convince them, and recognizing the significance of the arrest, they do as you ask. Exhausted and adrenaline taking its toll, you hurry back to your lodges. You never felt so relieved to get back to such a dingy house. Once again, you find yourself upstairs in the office. The rain still falls outside the window, and you change into some drier clothes. You reflect on how lucky you are to be in one piece. Yeah, I don't know how I did that. Now that you're feeling safer and in more comfortable clothes, you begin to try and process what just happened. Could that one attacker have been responsible for all the missing people? No, you think to yourself. They said someone had sent them. But how did they know where to find me? You sigh. All questions you can ask them tomorrow when you interrogate them. For now, you do your best to settle your mind and get some rest. No, we're going to talk to Alistair. You spot Alistair in the desk drawer. Wow. As you approach, his pupils narrow to slits as he pulls in shut. From within, you hear his muffled voice, clearly sulking. How am I meant to help you if you don't let me get stronger? I'm so hungry. He grumbles before the drawer slides open just a crack. You promise? Okay, I'll hold you to it. The drawer slides shut again. It creaks as he curls up inside. Turn your attention. Yep, we go to bed. You decide to get some well-earned rest. Pulling yourself into bed, you search for sleep. Ooh. You wake from a restless sleep as early morning light creeps through the window. Body aching, you rub the sleepiness from your eyes and throw on some clothes. Looking outside, it seems to have stopped raining. The streets seem cleaner, the events of yesterday evening washed away. You flip through your journal, skimming over the previous day's leads, planning where to go next. Well, we need to, go... We need to interrogate the cultist. I think... Yeah, let's get our mask and then interrogate the cultist, just because the mask is only an hour and we have to, like, get it before 12. You walk your way down through the twisting alleyways to a bulwark bazaar. As you round the corner, you're met with an ominous sight. Multiple of the shop windows have been smashed in. Shards of glass and metal line the floor, the inside of the shop gutted. Shelves and display cases have been broken in, what can you assume was a struggle. The door of the shop hangs ajar. Cautiously, you push your way inside. As you investigate whatever's happened here, you notice something of interest. A new mask has been temporarily placed on display. The mask has various doorways carved on it. One or two lay open, revealing parts of the wearer's face inside. Hello, Bixie. Welcome, welcome. I hope you're having a good evening or morning. You hold it up to your face. The mask fits you perfectly. This must be the one you ordered. Okay, Arcane mask. I want to see. Okay. Oh, I get an aura boost. My aura is like crazy, but like I never use it. You begin a more thorough search of the shop, trying to figure out what has happened here. First, you check the back. You find no sign of Quinlan here, other than a half-eaten meal, now cold. One of the table chairs has been strewn to the side, and scuff marks lead back into the carnage of the shop. Now behind the counter, you spot a light smattering of blood dripping down its far edge. Crouching down to examine it, your heart sinks. Hastily drawn in blood is now dried and cracked symbol of an eye. You've seen this mark before. Many of them were tattooed on the arms of your attacker from last night. Hurrying to your feet, you make a few critical notes in your journal. You better get to Melody soon. She needs to know what's going on. Dodging glass and arcane shrapnel, you exit the bazaar. Well, let's see when I need to, talk to Melody. There's no time limit, that's fine. Maybe I need to talk to Melody and then investigate the cultist. But, like, I'm afraid if... We'll go to Melody. And then we'll go to the cultist, I guess. Making your way through the streets, you reach Arcane Authority's house. Knocking on the door, she answers, ushering you inside with some excitement. Investigator, come in. We've got a lot to talk about. She closes the door behind you and dexterously dodges through various pieces of arcane equipment that have been strewn about. Excuse the mess. How are you feeling about this morning? Last night someone tried to kill me. You recount the events of last night in as much detail as you can remember. She frowns, concern on her face. I see. One more thing. This morning I went to Bolric Bazaar. I saw more of the eye symbolism there. It looked like there had been some kind of struggle, and the shop windows were smashed and no one was inside. Melody freezes, staring at you. Did you find a pair of shoes? No shoes, but I did find the symbol drawn in blood. That's awfully concerning. You stand in silence for a moment. Well, on the positive side of things, now we have proof that this is being led by occultists. We need to know... and we know that their symbol is the strange eye, the all-seeing eye. Melody thinks for a second before snapping her fingers. Wait a minute, I think I've seen something like this before. She leaves the room momentarily before returning with some canvases under her arms. Have a look at these. She ushers you over to the central table where she lays the paintings down. Damien's paintings are, well, often abstract. Using them to predict the future can sometimes be easy, but can also feel like pulling at straws. In several of the paintings, she points out various eye symbols, each one subtly incorporated into the background. At first, I just assumed that the eyes meant we were being watched. But I didn't know if that was the perpetrator or just the police. Honestly, it could have been anyone on this island. I'm sure by now you've realized how little people trust me. But if this is the symbol of the occultist, then I've been staring at it for months without realizing it. It's been right in front of my face. Damn. The Arcane authorities have gathered a fair amount of text regarding occult symbolism. Before we go anywhere to investigate, I think I should take a look through them and see what I can find. But first, let me tell you what I found out about the shoes. Leads you into another room. The shoes sit within what seems to be a glass box. What's with the box? Oh, well, it turns out that occultists have been using the shoes as catalysts to curse people. Should we be worried? You glance down at your own shoes for a moment, concerned. Melody follows your eyes. We'll be fine. I put a special box over it. Don't worry about your shoes. I'm at least 80% confident that they aren't cursed. You aren't exactly reassured. And the other 20%? Well, none of the shoes I've ever seen have been boots. But we're getting off topic. She walks over, getting close to the glass, waving a hand for you to join her. The shoes eventually paralyze something touching it. Then why don't they paralyze me when I pick them up? From what I can tell, once the curse is activated, it's only strong enough for a few hours. Approaching the glass, you feel an oppressive force acting upon your mind. Afterwards, the shoes are relatively harmless, at least for a few days. Then remnants of the curse begin to fester. At this point, they can get quite dangerous, drive people mad, that kind of thing. We were lucky to get them when we did. They turned bad earlier this morning. We'll have to burn them at some point, otherwise it could get unsafe. I dread to think where the police are keeping theirs. She sighs, stepping back into the main office. Well, it's at the doctor's house. But my takeaway is this. After the shoes are cursed, the occultists have to watch their victims. Once the curse takes hold, all they need to do is collect them. I suspect they leave the shoes because they're too dangerous to handle. The last thing they need is to paralyze themselves accidentally. Unfortunately, what this doesn't tell us is where they go afterwards. But if they're not outright killing their victims, she grabs your hands, buzzing with excitement, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. Then there's a slim chance they're alive somewhere. Now all we need to do is figure out what their motives are. She spins on her heels, leading you further into the house and into a room packed full of tomes. Some look hundreds of years old, each one written and signed by a past arcane authority. The book contains information regarding the arcane and its threats. That symbol has to appear in one of these. They must be working with something powerful in order to cast a curse like this. You begin on that side, and I'll begin on this side. Properly indexing and ordering this library has been a job procrastinated by Arcane authorities for generations. You should see the office back in the mainland. It's not much different. You and Melody began pulling tomes off the shelves. Pick by vibe. Is my luck or intelligence good? My luck is amazing. We're gonna go off vibes. My luck is horrible. You try your luck picking books at random from shelves. An hour passes, you begin to understand why Vibe isn't a standard library sorting system. Behind you, Melody shouts, "I've got it!" Melody begins to flip through the pages. Here, this book talks about a group of cultists that were in contact with a spirit they named Talshell? She flips through a few more pages. Oh dear. There are mentions here of human sacrifices. It mentions some kind of esoterical ritual. Before they die, they'd be forgotten by anyone who knew them. The process supposedly greatly strengthens Telshel, the group's aim ultimately being to puncture the veil and let it into this realm. That cult was found after 3 or 4 sacrifices, barely in its infancy. This one has been active for at least a year. They must be close to completion. Her eyes soften for a moment. I can hear Damien's paintings have been getting more and more erratic as of late. That usually happens before something terrible. And the Spirit Fair starts today. We're reaching the zenith of Malgree's power. If the cult doesn't try to do something soon, then they'd have to wait another year at least. The veil between the spirits and Malgree is not easily parted, but if there is a time to do it, it would be now. She snaps the book shut and wedges it into a bag. Our best bet is probably the Spirit Fair. It's in one of the most powerful places in Maligree right now, and it's currently one of the easiest places for cultists to hide. Plus, it also happens to be where you can buy basically any occult material you need. I'm getting into the car. Are you coming with? Okay, but whatever you're doing, make it quick. We don't have much time to waste. I have to talk to the occultist. You watch as she gets into her car and drives down the street. Yeah, I gotta talk to that occultist. You're walked over to the chief's office. As you arrive, 2 officers leave the room, clearly having just received a good dose of the chief's outrage. Chief, the investigator, is here. As you walk into the room, you see the chief, hands covering his eyes, his face slightly red from shouting. See, why are you gold? We're getting different colors. You must be the mainland investigator we called for. I feel like you've got some explaining to do. You recount last night's events. Chief Brindle leans back in his chair. If what you say is true, then all I can do is apologize. You're free to go. With a nod, you leave the chief's room and are led by the young officer to the body. As they had described, the top half of your attacker's face has been severely burnt. Wait, they never described the guy's face. What do they mean by this? The mask to the side of their now burnt out face depicts a large eye. Oh, my intellect failed. Checking the rest of their body, the same eye symbolism can be found tattooed on their arms and torso. You look back towards the officer. No, nobody whose look does. And they didn't have any kind of ID either. It'll take a while to find out who they are. Their teeth have been distorted by the flames. I don't understand. Like, the body wasn't burnt or anything. I just put them down in the office. I don't get this. Oh, I discovered a skip. Okay. I was confused. I'm like, wait a minute. Which means the fire was pretty hot. Their death would have been instant. You take a step back. The attacker looked to be in their early 20s, but from the looks of it, that's all you will get from this. No, you're good. You're good. I was just thinking, did I miss something? Did I accidentally click through something too fast? There's nothing for you here now. You leave the station feeling slightly disappointed. Okay. I guess we go to the Spirit Fair. See what we can do. As you arrive at the edge of the garden and begin making your way inside, you feel its power wash over you as its forests and meadows begin to roll out as far as the eye can see. In the distance, you hear the sound of the fair in full swing. Little Alisters! Also, there's an eye right there. You follow it until you see the brightly colored tents. A line of people make their way through the entrance, all of them donning masks as they pass under the fairground banner. As you approach the entranceway, you see sat on a chair too small for their hulking, muscular figure, what you can only assume is security for the event. Besides them, on a small table, a radio blares out some distorted music. Salutations, friend! I welcome you back for this exuberant occasion. I do hope you haven't forgotten about my very own event in the latter half of the day. Muscle Mancy? He flexes his arms. He flexes his arms contort and you make out what seems to be his muscles. Your face. What? Truly a skill beyond all others. Hence, they're saving me for last. I hope to see you there. He kisses his bicep and lowers his arms. Now to enter this place, you must adorn your face with a mask of your choosing. Are you prepared? We're gonna wear the Arcane mask, because that's the one we got. And, like, we don't want to wear someone else's fate, you know? He puffs out his chest and lets out a hardly bellow. It captures your very essence. Truly, Quinlan has outdid himself here. Please. He waves you forward, allowing you to enter the fairground. You see people of all ages, sizes, and shapes adorned with exotic masks. Some barter at market stalls, some try their hand at various entertainment that the fair provides. And some come and go from within numerous tents that encapsulate the edges of the fairground. Some tents are marked with various occult symbols. Others sit unadorned yet still invitingly open. In the midst of this, waiting for you, you spot Melody. Why is there fire on her mask? That's ominous. That's ominous. Walking up to where she turns to you. They're most likely at the tents. Should we go there? Maybe let's check the market. Actually, I have a few things I need to pick up for myself while we're here. Quite a few rare ingredients pass through, and ordering from the mainland is such a pain. Let's get going then. Weaving your way through crowds of people towards the market, you both arrive at the bustling market stead. Wanting crisscrossers between the stands, each stall tries to grab the attention of passerbyers, whether it's selling root vegetables or magical trinkets. Eventually, someone will buy. At the far end of the market, there seems to be a contest for one such magical trinket. Many people gather here, seemingly competing for the prize, an amulet made of blue glass in the shape of a jellyfish. There's an awful lot of junk here, much more than I remember. I guess the Spirit Fair has really gone downhill since I was a child. A recent decline, then. Oh, I'm banking on it. I'm looking for a particular stall that sells the components for a tracking spell. That way, if we catch one of our culprits, we can place the spell on them and set them free, hopefully leading us straight to their hideout. We're looking for a vendor by the name of Octavian. He'll be the one wearing that obnoxious... You're interrupted by a stall vendor behind you. Did someone mention the great Octavian? For it is, the witch. Well, he has an interesting mask. You turn around to look upon a man wearing what you can only assume to be a crystal ball balanced on his head. The base of it is wrapped in a brightly colored cloth and sits atop his star-adorned mask. Octavian. Just the stall vendor I wanted to see. Let's skip some of the pleasantries. I have money, and I know you'll want all of it. Oh? And what am I to trade for such compensation? I need the components for a tracking spell. Now, Melody, it was your very master who banned such components from being sold to the public. That and many other things, of course. It has done my business much harm. But in my 200 years of selling, I've learned that one must move with the times. So you're telling me you have nothing that could help me? I have many things for sale. Surely I can find you something other than that. Melody shakes her head, adamant, and produces a large coin purse. Surely, as Arcane Authority, I should be able to buy what I want, should I have enough money to afford it. Now, will you sell it to me or not? And if I were to sell you these things, would you promise not to arrest me and offer me amnesty for the day? The whole day of amnesty in my coin. She looks over to you and sighs deeply. You're lucky I'm desperate. Desperation is demand. And where there is demand, there's money to be made. He reaches down below his stand and pulls out a small lockbox. Opening it up with the key, he takes out several small items, priced separately, and sells them to Melody. She hands over her coin purse and takes what he offers. As you begin to walk away from the stand, she turns to you. It's hard to see while wearing a mask, but Octavian is quite undead. He's been traveling the world for some time now, and always has the right supplies. If you can afford them. But now that we've got these items sorted, all we need to do is find someone to track. So keep an eye out and start asking the stall vendor some questions. The jellyfish. You make your way towards the jellyfish stall. Several people here are attempting to cast minor spells to conjure the jellyfish amulet from its glass cabinet filled with water. Come on, next. A new person steps up to the glass cabinet. You see the crackling of arcane flowing from their hands, but it quickly flickers out. Unfortunately, it looks like the garden has suppressed your efforts. Next! People, although gathered, don't seem to be standing in line. It seems as though you only get one attempt. Are you in line or just spectating? Let's go! Wonderful. Place your hand upon the glass and let the jellyfish sense you. Should it deem you worthy with the arcane, it will accept you and leap from the cabinet into your hand. Wait. My aura. I have a 5 in aura. Hang on. I might be able to do this on accident. That's a 19 plus that 5. You almost need like a nat 20 for that. Unless that's 14 plus the 5, which is 19, but still. You walk over to the cabinet, placing your hand on the glass. You will the amulet to come to you, for the jellyfish to be placed in your hand. You feel the jellyfish's presence as a stinging rejection. What a shame, another person rejected by the jellyfish. Will anyone ever win this prize? Could it be you? He begins gouting and pointing into the crowd as you step away from the stall. This man seems too busy to answer my questions. Melody gives you a nod and then continues to question more stall owners. Candles. You head over to a rather busy stall, covered in multicolored wax. Candles melted all over every surface. A shy-looking woman sits behind the counter, dealing with customers who eagerly try buying her supplies. Wyvern wax? Most of the crowd talk over each other, trying to haggle with the woman all at once. Some just use the opportunity to pocket a candle while she's overwhelmed. Oh, I don't think I can do that. But we might as well try. Yeah, I fail. Your authoritative tone is drowned out by the chaos of the stall. You notice by the time the crowd dies down, a few more candles are missing than there are coins on the counter. Alas, oh, why did they have to all come while I was the only one here? Oh, sorry, hi. My name is Bex, welcome to Wyvern Wax. She waves awkwardly. I saw you tried to help out earlier. Thanks for trying. I appreciate it. It's rare that I find myself surrounded by so many people. I get overwhelmed. Are you here to buy a candle? How can I help? No, sorry, I'm looking for someone. Have you seen them? Oh, of course. Who are you looking for? You describe the masked cultist to Bex, who ponders for a moment. You know, I think I did see a few people like that earlier. They bought some of our signature black ash candles. They seem to head off towards the back towards the tent, so they might be watching one of the shows. Although that was an hour ago or so, so you might have to be quick if you still want to catch them. Doesn't take you long to find Melody and tell her what you've learned. I told you they'd be near the tents. We should head over there at once. Okay. You weave your ways towards the outskirts of the fair. Here, encircling the rest of the fairground, large colorful tents open to the public, each one supporting its own strange events and symbolism. I think this time it's better if we stick together. I'm confident the cultists must be nearby. I wouldn't want to run into them while we're separated. Neither do I. Let's get started then. We'll go from this side to the other. See if we can find anything out of the ordinary. Well, more out of the ordinary than usual. Keep watch for any eye symbolism. You spend the next 20 or so minutes checking out a few false flags. Most tents at first glance seem strange, but upon closer inspection, turn out to be local clubs or some boring events unrelated to your search. But it's as you're leaving another one of these false flag tents that you spot something strange. A tent with 3 eyes in a row for its symbol. The eye seems inhuman. You nudge Melody, who takes a look at it. This could be it. Slowly, you both approach the beaded entrance to the tent. Melody noiselessly moves some of the beads aside to see within. I see some shelves with jars suspended by chains and a counter like some kind of shop front. I don't think anyone's inside. Okay, but we gotta be quick. You brush past the beads as you both enter the seemingly empty tent, but there's little creatures in there. It's cool and dark in there. Jars line the walls of the tent, hung from chains connected to the wooden boards. Interesting way to suspend a jar. You feel a rummaging from within your top pocket and a strained, quiet voice comes out. Oh hells, boss, we gotta get out of here right now. No, just look how many jars there are here. We need to go now before they... You hear tiny whispers begin to grow louder from within the hanging jars. From behind the warped glass, numerous oddly shaped eyes open and swivel to face you. The eyes of many lesser demons. 1 lemon, 2 lemon, 3 lemons. There's a lemon demon, a lawyer demon. It's you. You're guilty. Guilty, guilty, guilty. Wait, no. Strike that from the record. Swing demon? Will you push me? I need you to push me. Soil. Soil! The quality of the soil is just right. We could grow tomatoes. No, wait. Beans! Immediately, Melody is intrigued by the jarred creatures and begins to study them. How fascinating. Caged lesser demons? These are highly illegal. Oh. Yes. You hear a shudder from within your pocket. They've all gone mad. I don't blame them. Even an hour in a jar feels like an eternity. I hope this makes you reconsider ever putting me in one. Oh no, did my stream die? Did my stream die? No, it didn't? Did it die on YouTube side? No, it didn't. Oh, it's a... What? I don't know what's going on. Maybe we can help them. Oh, look at him. There's no way we can release a bunch of lesser demons into the wild. Oh, I suppose you're right, boss. He emerges out of his pocket very slightly, 2 clawed fingers poking together meekly. His eyes glint hungrily towards the other demons. Well, I guess we could always put them out of their misery. Pretty please, boss. I'll make it quick. Plus, you promised. The pupils of his eyes grow large and sparkly. If you're fine with cannibalism. Oh, okay. He's okay with cannibalism. His arms shoot up victoriously. You feel a weight lift from your pocket and the jars on the chains begin to shake and rattle. You begin to hear small demonic shrieking. 14 lemons, 15 lemons, 16. Surge of tiny voices is cut short as the room grows even darker. Oh! One of the jars smashes, sending glass scattering across the ground as it hits the floor. A demon rolls out. It seems old and has even formed itself a walking stick. Alistair, now noticeably larger than the lesser demons surrounding him, pounces on the older creature without hesitation. There's a hissing sound as the two engage for a moment. but its struggle is worthless as Alistair sucks into his own darkening mass. You watch as one jar at a time he consumes the demons. With each meal, he grows even larger. I think I messed up. I think I messed up, guys. I don't think I should have fed him the demons. By the time he's done, he's nearly half as tall as you. He can't fit in my pocket anymore. Demon strength? Where do I get demon strength? Oh. Okay, there it is. Boss, look how big I am! He arches his back and flexes his claws, now noticeably larger. His horns stick out further than before, though his body still ripples with dark tint, prickling but malleable. Hehehe. How are you going to fit in my pocket now? Ah, watch this. Alistair taps his nose knowingly before his humanoid form begins to contour and with an uncomfortable pop, squishes himself back into his usual travel-size shelf. Nothing if not convenient, boss. You know me. What the hell was that? You have a demon? No, I don't know what you're talking about. Isn't that extremely illegal on the mainland? I have a license. How's my... It's not that good. You really think so, boss? Oh, look at him. He's blushy. His eyes seem teary for a moment, pupils shrunken, before he wipes his face. I mean, obviously, I'm special. Melody narrows her eyes, studying him dubiously. He does seem a bit wet for a demon. Excuse me? It's probably best if you go and hide now, Alistair. Keep an eye out for the cultist. We're getting close. He gives you a small salute and flips off Melody before vanishing into your pocket. She seems bemused, looking at you with an eyebrow cocked as he disappears. Well, we certainly have something to talk about once this investigation is over. But as long as you have it under control and it's helping with the investigation, I'll keep my mouth shut. Either way, this doesn't look like the cultist stuff, and whoever it is, well, you just killed all of their demons. We should probably make ourselves scarce. You leave the tent and resume your search. However, it isn't long before you find another abnormal tent. This one has the marking of a coiled eel, and some very suspicious men in suits sit outside it. Huh, these guys are giving me some weird vibes. Fishy. She tries to hide it, but Melody smiles when you make your terrible joke. You walk over and one of the suited men rises from their seat, blocking you from looking through the entranceway. Oh, that's Purple. Good day to you, gentlemen. I'm Melody, Arcane Authority of Maligree. Ah, Authority. Welcome to our tent of business. The man's voice sounds strange through their sharp teeth. Oh, a tent of business, you say? How nice. And do tell me, what is your name? The suited man spins around in a panic and forms a huddle with his colleagues. After a short exchange of whispers, they turn and answer Melody. My name is John. Definitely John. Melody gives you a look. Perhaps we could deal in business on a day we are more prepared? For some, the flesh is a mask. Is this all? Well, we trade in precious metals and depths of sort. Oh, you're a loan shark. Makes sense. Okay. We are paid, and the payee receives a certain kind of luck. I'll bet temporarily. And the boss is resting, and I'm afraid she isn't taking any more offers at this present time. Oh, Justin! Thank you for resubbing. Thank you. And I hope you're having a great night. Welcome on in. Venor, yeah! We're monochrome tonight. Oh, hello, Real. Welcome. I hope you're having a great night as well. If you're selling magical services, then I need to know more. About to head to a concert, but I wanted to see what type of game this was after the announcement. Yeah, so it's a mystery visual novel. We're trying to figure out who is stealing these people and like killing them before we forget everything and we have a little demon with us. And we might have made a mistake by having our demon eat the other demons, but that's okay. I'm surprised it hasn't been a month since I subbed. My monthly message hasn't shown up. Oh? Super excited, nice. If we find the bodies, can we eat them? Alistair already ate the demon bodies. Did he get chonky? He didn't get chonky, he just got longer. And he attacked like an old man demon too. Maybe Alistair will pop up. Long, but yeah, he was kind of long. But he was kind of like scrunched his neck a little bit. If you're oh, I already said that. But we don't use magic as you understand it. Not anything that stems from beyond the veil. We draw our power from old magic. From what lies above us. We draw on luck itself. I'd love to see that in action. Every book I've read agrees that old magic is barely magic at all, and just some people who kept getting lucky. Hey man, luck is magic. Just chance. Just chance. Chance does not have favorites, but the old ones do. They thread luck through this world. Whether you believe it or not, Melody says nothing, but it's clear she's highly skeptical. Is this all? Be our guest? Do they have eye tattoos also? Yes. So you know where they are? No, but we know where they're going. We overheard that one of their members was curious about the art of musclemancy. Oh, we're gonna go see some musclemancy, guys. It will be there. It will be there. You can find them. Is that all? Thanks, we'll be off. Who would have thought it would be them who told us where to find the cultists? I suppose all we have to do now is head over to the right show tent and wait. If we keep this pace up, we might have a good shot at saving the girl. Finding the show tent doesn't take long. Ask Cotton Eye Joe. I don't think Cotton Eye Joe will know anything. Bright lights and vibrant banners point to each of the various shows. Each one showcased a particular type of honed magical skill, whether it be talking to animals or conjuring fire. Last in line of the tents, you find one you're looking for. A banner with huge muscular arms hang above its entrance. You both find a spot to sit, waiting for the show's start time. As you wait, you watch crowds of people stream from one tent to the next, watching the shows, eventually all flowing into the final event of the evening. Keep your eyes open. They'll be in this crowd somewhere. The sea of masked faces is overwhelming. You need to focus your attention to have a real chance of finding anyone. I think if the guy is like really excited about musclemancy, they're gonna be up front so they can see all the muscles. As Chadwin enters the stage and begins to rally up the crowd, you focus on those close to the action. Here, Chadwin's fans and the most curious of fair goers pack themselves close to the stage, each one vying for the best view. The large stage lights alone are enough to keep them warm, that and the body heat of those around them. Chadwin, taking center stage, begins his show by flexing his muscles, making them ripple like waves. Behold! Wait, what is that beneath the water's surface? Chadwin flexes yet again, turning to show his back. This time, the muscly water surface, a dolphin leaps. The crowd cheers as Chadwin expertly maneuvers his muscles, causing the dolphin to once again jump out of the water. Melody appears beside you. They're not on the outskirts, they must be up close. Together you work faster. You spot them, a hooded figure hiding in the middle of the crowd. Better yet, they seem fully enraptured by Chadwin's performance. I knew up close because he was like, I want to go see musclemancy, please. You see the eye mask barely visible under the hood. That's got to be them. Now we just need to get to them somehow. As the show goes on, for one reason or another, people start leaving the crowd. With fewer people between you and the target, it gets easier to get close. Now's our chance. You and Melody weave your way between the remaining audience members. Before you know it, you stand behind the unsuspecting cultist. You hear a laugh much younger than you expected from behind the masked cultist as Chadwin performs another volley of miraculous muscular movements. Oof, lots of M's. Melody turns to you and nods. She produces the small pouch of spell components. Opening the bag, she plucks a few ingredients from it, performing the somatic gestures for a tracking spell. As she reaches the conclusion of the spell, she reaches forward, pressing her fingers against the back of the cultist. Immediately, they swing around looking at you with annoyance. Do I have enough? I don't think I have enough vigor. Wait, I do. We've got some should I just punch him? No, I shouldn't punch him. Like, we need him to, like, walk away, you know? Their demeanor shifts as they realize who you both are. They turn, jerking sideways into the crowd, causing a commotion in the tent as they begin to shove past people in order to escape. Melody whispers to you quickly. The tracking spell took. We just need to keep them running. They'll lead us straight to where they've been hiding. The origins of muscle magic? I think so. My intelligence isn't good. How's my agility? It might be easier for agility. Oh! I got a nat 20. Let's go. Ducking and weaving, you rush after the fleeting cultist. You hear Melody behind you, but your eyes are focused solely on closing the gaps in the crowded area. You jump over someone knocked over by the cultist and are forced to shove others apart to keep up. You hear the crowd jeer angrily behind you, but ahead the pathway is clear. Soon you burst from the warmth of the tent, only a few seconds behind the fleeting cultist. Melody, panting, draws up beside you. Slow down a bit. We need them to actually get away. You fake a hard fall. You slam into the dirt, rolling for a moment before Melody stops beside you. Ahead you hear the cultist laugh before you lose sight of them behind the tents. Nice. You made that look good. Here. She offers you a hand. Yeah, well, I'm faster than I look. Melody helps you to your feet. You wipe the dirt off your trousers. Thankfully, the fall didn't hurt at all. Melody nods. You follow the trail left by her spell for a few minutes before finally stopping at a rather innocent group of tents. It's accurate up to a few meters. A sudden rustling from one of the nearby tents causes you and Melody to duck behind an empty stall. The tent flaps open quickly, and the cultist you were chasing emerges, lit by an orange glow. Inside you hear the murmuring of one or two others. The cultist snaps back a retort to someone within the tent before hurriedly stalking off into the back of the fair. In a hushed tone, Melody crouches down and whispers to you. Bingo. Well, I think the best idea is probably just to rush them and get them to surrender. Alright, I'll take it. Melody grins, reaching for a scroll tucked up her sleeve. The scroll's magic was cast outside of the garden and then made dormant. Reading its words should let me activate it here again safely without the garden influencing it. Just in case, I take a step back. Okay. As you step back, Melody begins to read the scroll. A ball of purple flames ebb into existence between your palms, incinerating the scroll. You feel the heat radiating from the orb as it revolves under Melody's control. Okay, let's do this. Melody, fireball held in front of her, rushes through the entranceway of the cultist's tent. You chase in after her. Get on the fucking ground or I'll blow you and this entire place up. She holds her hands above her head, letting the fireball grow, its explosive rage barely contained. Illuminated by the purple glow, you see two other masked cultists, a few tables, a radio, and a caged man. The masked cultists turn in shock. Get on the ground, now! One of them drops to the ground immediately. The other goes to do the same, but you catch a glint of something up their sleeve. A knife is drawn and they lunge as you react. Alistair appears from behind them, grasping at their face. Save me, Alistair! God damn you. The cultist, fumbling backwards, their face slashed, instead changes their target to their— Oh no! Before you knock the knife out of their hand, they slice at Alistair, wounding one of their wings. You slam the cultist to the ground alongside the other. On the table, bind their hands with the rope on the table. You look over, grabbing some of the rope from the table. As you do so, a voice croaks from the caged man. Inside the cage, you see the mask. It's Quinlan! He looks in terrible condition. Please help me. I need water. The inside of the cage, it's like a desert. Quinlan? What have they done to you? Quinlan doesn't answer. He seems delirious. Damn it. One thing at a time. Tie up the cultists first. Doesn't take you long. You bind their arms behind their back. When Melody thinks it's safe, she extinguishes her fireballs and it helps you secure them. I'll radio some of the guards to get back up. Chadwin will send people if I say it's me. You deal with the cage. It doesn't take long to find the key to the cage on one of the now bound cultists. They say nothing as you take the key from them. They both just sit there and watch you. Do I have enough aura? Oh, I have 5 aura. This should be good. 21, let's go. As you approach the cage, recalling Quinlan's words, you put your hand out, testing for heat. The bars themselves seem cold from the outside. No heat radiates off them. Only as your hand is just about to touch the metal do you sense it. An infernal heat, arcane in nature. There's some kind of magic going on here, Melody. The cage is being heated by something. From outside the radio, Melody turns to you, an eyebrow raised. I'm surprised magic like that would work inside the garden. It must have been something stabilizing it. Look for runes or some kind of object. Taking a glance around, you notice a series of runes scrawled into the dirt at the base of the cage. Scuffing them out, you check to see if the heat has dissipated. Placing your hand close to the bars, you can no longer sense the warmth. Using the key, you unlock the cage. As the bar door swings open, warm air rushes out. Quinlan, still delirious, falls to the ground and crawls desperately towards its exit. Through parched lips, they croak out a few quiet words. Please, water. You help prop a severely dehydrated Quinlan up against the cage. As Melody talks to the guards over the radio, she tosses you a small canteen of water. Quinlan greedily drinks it, slumping back against the cage in relief. Thank you for freeing me from that hell. They left me boiling in that cage with no water, barely conscious. Why were they tormenting you? What did they want? They stole something, an artifact that I'd imported. Idiots broke it in the process and they needed me to fix it. I heard them over the radio. He's interrupted by a few violent, dry coughs. They're all hidden away in some caves in the forest. The artifact is supposed to preserve things, keep them cool. I'm not sure what they're doing with it, but it can't be anything good. Melody walks over, having seemingly finished with the radio. Guards are on their way. What was that about some caves? That's where they're holed up, I think. They have a radio there. Sounded like they were trying to gather supplies from the fair. I heard their boss's voice over the radio. It was cold. A woman. Sounded evil and, for some reason, familiar. One of the bound cultists laughed from the other side of the room. Melody glares towards them before drawing closer to you, whispering, I know someone in the forests. They might be able to help us. They know the land up there well, and they'd likely have maps of the caves. Still slightly woozy, Quinlan turns towards you. You guys go ahead. I'll just slow you down. If I remember anything, I'll radio Grace. You hand Quinlan the cultist's knife. Okay, security will be here any second. Good luck. Well, I probably should have kept that knife. As you and Melody push your way out of the tent, you see a group of muscular men in formation making their way towards you. Melody points towards the tent. They're in there. We'll leave this to you. Be warned that one of them got away. They might come back. One of the muscular men nods as the rest make their way into the tent. Come on, let's get out of here. After a short drive in Melody's motor car, you find yourselves as close to the hiking trails as roads will allow. As the two of you get out of the car, its headlamps cast warped shadows deeper into the forest. This place has always given me the creeps. With a click, she turns off the engine, plunging both of you into the night's darkness. Grace is insane to live out here alone. 13. My insanity fail. My insanity is in the shitter. At least out here, I'm not restrained by the garden. She flicks her wrist and a small palm-sized ball of light illuminates the forest ahead of you. That's better. Let's get a move on. I don't want to be out here any longer than necessary. You should see some of the stuff past Arcane authorities. You should see some of the stuff the past Arcane authorities have found out here. She shudders, her face scrunching up in discomfort. Let's just say I'm glad it's Grace monitoring this place and not me. Thank you. I will stretch and sip. As you begin to walk along the trail, Melody recounts some of the things that have been found out here. Well, this one time, an authority discovered this bizarre shedding of a creature too big to be a snake, but seemingly with arms. We still have no idea what it is. Snakes have never really been native to this island. Although apparently there were snakes on the island that sank, and then of course there were those vases. Well, closer to urns. There were about 100 found in the end, each one filled with a strange eker, and a single feather from a bird we couldn't identify. And all of this is before we even consider what the effects of Maligree's magic has done to the natural wildlife out here. Normally I'm against guns, but I fully understand why Grace keeps one out here. Melody squints her eyes, trying to make out something in the distance. Oh shit, what's that ahead? Looking onward, you see a tree that has fallen across the path. Must have fallen during the storm the other night. As you approach it, you hear Melody groan, seeing it's partially sunken into the wet, muddy ground. I should have brought bigger boots. That mud looks as deep as my knees. Walking around the path is only going to get worse. I could use magic to freeze it. At least then we won't get stuck. I can make the jump. I don't think I have the agility. I don't. She reaches up a hand to freeze the ground. A white frost springs from her hand, the mud taking on a reflective sheen. Testing it with her own foot first, she seems satisfied. Turning to you. After you. Reluctantly, you brave the muddy ice and get across unscathed. Melody follows in your footsteps. Perfect. I don't think we're far now. Let's keep at it. A little while later, you see Grace's watchtower fully lit from within. We should probably make ourselves known so we don't get shot. I'm going to send up our light so she can spot us. The little ball of light springs from her hand up into the air. It gets brighter as it rises. Moments later, you see the door to the watchtower open, and a figure with a rifle steps onto the balcony. And she has red for her coloring. Who's out there? Is that you, Melody? She lowers the rifle. Sorry to drop in unannounced, Grace, but it's important. That's fine. I'll put something warm on. Climb on up. As you climb the steps of the watchtower and reach its top, you see Grace through its windows, tending a small kettle. You follow Melody inside, happy to be out of the cold night air. Who's your friend here, Melody? Oh, this is Bean. They're the investigator you called in from the mainland. It's nice to meet you. Glad to know you arrived safely. My name's Grace Garning. I work for the police. Grace hands you a mug of something warm. Well then, let's get to business. Over the next few minutes, Melody explains everything you've learned up until this point. The cultists, the cursed shoes, and finally the lead pointing you towards the cultist base of operations. Grace gets up, opening one of her desk drawers, producing a large roll of paper. This is a map of the caves in the area. As you can see, Grace rolls out a heavily detailed map over the table. There are quite a lot of them, and some go quite deep, but I doubt your cultist enjoys mining or electronics, so they're probably in a place that already had the heavy lifting done for them, which means we should really be looking at abandoned mines. Big open spaces already cleared out, lighting systems already in place. It would make a good hideout. She puts her hands on her hips, studying the map. Most of the old mines have been sealed up, but it wouldn't take too much effort to unseal one, especially if they're using magic. That's true. I patrol some of the more common mines, the more publicly known ones. Occasionally use head up there for fun, without considering the deadly falls and other horrors the mines bring. Just like in Scarlet Hollow, and those kids running in there. So they must be in an older one. Which only really leaves us with a few possibilities. I'd say 4 candidates at best. She takes a pencil and circles a few markers on the map. Tomorrow I'll gather some supplies and plan a route for us. It's too dangerous to go at night. You two should get some rest. It'll be a quick trek. I suspect you'll need to be ready for a fight if we find them. Grace hesitates, looks up from her maps and glances at Melody. Should I radio this into the station? Maybe they could help. No. Are you sure? We could use the backup. They just slow us down. They're clearly not equipped to deal with occultists. They've proven that already. It's time for me to do my job. Grace sighs slightly, but concedes. Well, in that case, there's not much room, but feel free to find space and get some rest. Okay, I want to talk to Alistair. A quick glance around. There's Alistair. Quick glance around the tower reveals Alistair's position. His tail pokes out from behind a box in a corner of a room. You walk over to see how he's doing. Alistair groans as he shuffles about in the shadows, hiding his face, clearly sulking. Can't believe I got stabbed. That guy must have had some kind of supernatural speed or strength or something. No. He turns his face to you and squeezes his eyes closed. I think I'm gonna die. Unless maybe you feed me something? Something really big? He opens one of his eyes to see if his plan is working. I'll see what I can find. Thanks, boss. You consider what to ask next. Grumbling, he looks at you with a pout. I still feel like you should give me more to eat. I just hope I'm strong enough. He looks a little nervous, shuffling within the shadows. I know you can do it, Alistair. You're the strongest demon I know. Thanks, boss. I really appreciate that. Oh, look at that! He got stronger! Bashfully, he shrinks back into the shadows. You consider what to ask next. How do you feel about caves? Big, expansive, dark places? Sounds pretty good to me. Plus, I heard the further down you go, the weaker the veil gets. You consider what to ask next. Alright, good night, Alistair. But boss, evil never sleeps. Hehehe. A few minutes later, you hear snoring from behind the crate. You turn your attention elsewhere in the room. Let's just get to sleep. Taking some of the cushions off the couch, you find a spot on the floor and settle in as best as you can. It's not particularly comfortable, but at least the fire in the stove keeps you warm. Oof, my back, hang on. Ugh. Yeah, Twitch is still saying my stream is unstable. Bitrate is horrible. Nothing from YouTube, though. Before you know it, exhaustion takes you, and you wake hours later by the light of dawn. Grace seems to be up already, packing bags and prepping for what's ahead. She seems nervous as she inspects her rifle. But as she goes through the motions, her experience is clear to see. She knows what she's doing. As you get up, she smiles and waves to you. You get used to waking up with the sun when you live in a glass box, this high off the ground. It's not so bad, really. You get to watch wildlife wake up. She looks out of the window, resting her head against its glass for a moment before turning back and plucking a pencil off of the desk nearby. She tosses it at a still sleeping Melody, who groans as it bounces off her. Why are we getting up this early? I thought someone's life was on the line. Damn it, you're right. She peels herself out of bed and begins stretching. 10 minutes pass and all three of you are ready. As Grace locks up the tower behind her, Melody looks at the map marked out with the route planned. Grace approaches you, rifle slung over her shoulder. Let's get going. I'll lead the way. With the morning light streaming between the tree canopy, Grace leads the way. She moves carefully along a barely noticeable path, both you and Melody following behind. Even the heaviest equipment, she still outpaces you both, slowing down every now and then to let you catch up. Despite the challenges to come, she seems cheerful now, clearly enjoying herself out here amongst the trees. At one point on the trip, you spot a group of crows foraging on the forest floor. As you get closer, they startle, taking flight. Melody turns to you. Have you ever had to deal with a spirit before? Me either. They're powerful creatures from beyond the veil, able to wield magic in the same way we're able to breathe. It just comes naturally to them. Yet most are confused by the idea of a physical body, so they rarely try to enter this realm. I'm not sure what would happen if one did. All I know is that we need to stop them before we find out. You help Melody over a particularly large fallen log, long covered in vibrant moss. Ahead, Grace stops for you once more. First mine up ahead. As you draw up along her, she adjusts the strap of her bag and gives you a reassuring smile. Think of it like this. If the cultists are in this mine, then we don't have to walk as far. Here's hoping. When you do eventually arrive at the first mine, Melody readies herself while Grace unslings her rifle. At first you watch from afar, but after seeing no signs of obvious movement, you get closer. Eventually, Grace wraps her knuckle in an entrance way sealed shut with a large boulder. I doubt it's this one. Great, more walking. Grace slings her rifle back over her shoulder with a smirk. Nothing wrong with that. Over the course of the next few hours, you check on 2 more potentially mine candidates. You find that one of them isn't properly sealed, but after a quick examination, you determine it's not to be the layer you're looking for. After finding a nice place to eat some lunch, you continue your walk to the final marked mine. With the planned route close to its end, your companions seem to grow slightly more tense. Yet when you come across a pathway in the forest heading in the direction of the mines, one surprisingly well trodden. That tension seems to fester into anxiety. There shouldn't be a pathway like this out here. It's not on the map. Seemingly an easier route, you decide to follow the path. Am I gonna die? Oh, my aura passed. You feel something deeply wrong, a sensation that rises from the pit of your stomach and overwhelms you. Something about the arcane here has been perverted. Melody clearly feels it too, stopping in place. Her face twists up. Ugh. This must be the place. There's something deeply wrong here. Let's be more stealthy about our approach then. Moving carefully through the undergrowth, you eventually come out upon the entrance of the mine. The boulders used to cover the entranceway have clearly been removed. From where the 3 of you crouch, you see a dim electric glow emanating from the mouth of the cave. They must have a generator inside. Melody shuffles forward, trying to get a better view. I don't think the same approach we took with the tent is going to work here. Any ideas on how we can get in? I was thinking about that on the way over. As far as I can see, we've got 3 ways in. First way would just be walk through the front door and confront them face to face, though that might be a little reckless. Second option is a little more challenging. This mine has a second entrance, but it's likely still sealed shut by a boulder, so we'd have to find a way to remove that. Our third option is to try and find a way to sneak in. None of those sound particularly ideal, but I suppose it's better than nothing. Melody turns to face you. What do you think? I think stealth. Agreed. Oh. Oh, thank you, anonymous user, for gifting Happy a sub. Thank you. Sorry. I'm checking to see if maybe. If Twitch will say my stream is stable or not. But thank you for the subby, thank you. How do we get past the entrance without being seen? I don't see anyone guarding the entrance. They must be deeper inside. Let's get a bit closer. Grace pushes out of the bush towards the cave mouth, but Melody quickly catches her arm. Hold on, what if it's a trap? Melody hesitates but then nods, letting go of Grace. The 3 of you deftly creep towards the entrance of the cave. Your movements are muffled by the sound of the wind blowing through the trees. Eventually, as you draw close to the mine's entrance, you hear the distinct sound of chanting echoing from somewhere deep within. The rhythmic hum seems to linger in the air for slightly too long. Gently, Melody puts a hand on your arm. Come on, sounds like we are running out of time. Nodding, you push deeper into the cave. Above you, electric lights buzz, lining the caravan roof, illuminating the passage. As the three of you turn a corner, you see before you a large open chamber. Grace waves you and Melody over as she perches beside a minecart full of stone. From here, you survey the eerie scene that lays before you. A group of cultists, 8 in total, stand around a circle of candles. In the center, a large metal cauldron. From this distance, you're not quite sure what it is, but what catches your eye is a totem behind the circle itself. A large eye-like gemstone stands supported by a sculpture constructed of various human bones. Strange liquid drips from the pupil of the eye into the bowl beneath. Oh. A cultist wearing an unsettling vestment, not quite holy, but clearly emulating it, steps out from around the totem. You watch the robed figure drift between the chanting cultists, occasionally placing a hand on their shoulders and murmuring affirmations into their ears. Eventually, they stop at the base of the cauldron, looming over it for a moment before dipping a hand into the contents. A thick coating of gray-black ichor follows their arms as they draw it out, clutching the wrist of a human hand. They turn it tenderly, pressing a set of fingers against its wrist. Do I know what's happening? My insanity, I passed. Your stomach turns at the sight, and you're forced to tear your eyes away. A splash draws your gaze back as the cultist lets the hand fall limp back into the cauldron. As they turn, arms outstretched towards the others who continue their monotonous chant. She is almost ready, on the brink of true enlightenment. Lend Talshi your voice as we welcome forth a new age of peace. Guide the girl into their embrace, then you too shall follow. The chanting cultists, seemingly invigorated, increase the intensity of their chant as their leader turns away. They wander back towards the strange pillar, dropping to their knees before it and pressing their head against the bone of the base. Then she lifts the wooden bowl from beneath the eye and drinks deeply. Oh. As she stands there, she wipes the ichor from her face. Oh, nasty. You notice her movements seem less tired, their exhaustion seeming to fade away. Then the leader heads out of the chamber, deeper into the cave. Melody's face grows pale. This is not good. We need to stop the chanting as soon as possible. I can feel, well, I just know they're close to finishing. So, how's my agility? Enough hiding, let's finish this. You stand from your hiding spot, reluctantly. The others follow you. As you make yourself visible, the other cultists simply ignore your presence. This is the perfect time. If they're just ignoring us, we can have Grace, just shoot them. Instead, they focus fully on their chanting, its intensity slowly rising. Grace turns towards you and gives you a confident nod. Readying her rifle at the closest cultist, she grimaced before yelling like a drill sergeant. Maligree police, get on the ground or I'll shoot. I will not give a second warning. Moment passes. None of them react. Fine. An explosive crack echoes through the chamber as Grace shoots the leg out from underneath one of the cultists. They topple to the ground, screaming, their chanting interrupted. The others pay no mind to their bleeding ally, too entranced in their ritual to notice. Enough. Must you inflict more suffering in this accursed world? The robed cultist emerges back into the chamber. The woman's voice sounds cold, her words hollow. Of all the people I expected to find their way here, you were not among them, Melody. I suppose you are less of a disappointment than I expected. But a disappointment you are, nonetheless. You're summoning a spirit. Why the hell wouldn't I try to stop you? Try, sure. But you never gotten anywhere before. Who the hell do you think you are? We met once. Long ago. Wait. BKRE? You were such a sweet girl. Such a shame you ended up like this. The cultist leader follows Melody's gaze towards the cauldron in the middle of the circle. Ah, now that girl is special. A girl who can achieve their purpose. Amid the chanting and the wails of the wounded cultists, They walk over to the cauldron and look longingly into the contents. Our memories are a prison. They keep us shackled to pain, to hope. They shape us, but we leave that shape to chance. No more shall people suffer this cruelty. How she promised to remove it all. Pain, fear, anguish. Our mind, our bodies shall be unshackled. Left to float unimpeded. Oh. A second crack echoes through the caravan as Gray shoots the leader of the cultist clan in the head. Okay, wow. Blood sprays violently backwards against the cave floor, extinguishing 1 or 2 candles in the process. As the cultist's corpse falls to the ground, they look surprised, perhaps even impressed. The slam their body makes on the ground seems to wake the other cultists from their trance. As their chanting stops, you hear the sound of knives being drawn. Then the leader's body twitches slightly. Their blood slowly but surely rolls back into their body. How? What's happening? No time for that. I can feel the veil thinning. We need to deal with this before. Of course. I have an idea, but we need to deal with these cultists first. Buy me some time. Flames begin dancing around Melody's fingers as the cultists charge. Of the 7 remaining cultists, 1 comes at you directly, 4 more rushing Melody. The cultist moves towards you in a frenzy, wildly slashing at the air with their knives. Oh no. My demon strength is 3, my vigor is just 2. I think this one. Please, Alistair! Yes! You call out to Alistair, summoning them in your time of need. A huge column of smoke appears before you, a huge impish form gliding out. The cultists coming towards you freeze in place. Bow before me, scum. Fuck 'em up! Anything for you, boss. I'll make them suffer. I promise. Also, I love that he has like a little tie on. That's cute. Alistair runs laughing evilly at the cultist, who looks at the demon with horror. They now seem significantly smaller than they were a moment ago. In moments, they stand before the shaking cultist. With one swipe, Alistair cleaves them in half. With a wet thud, the upper torso segment hits the body beside you. Mwahaha. They then vanish. You feel a sudden familiar weight in your pocket. Did I do good, boss? You hear a faint purring noise as the demon curls up in your pocket. Oh my god, he's getting so strong! An explosion of heat, fire, and the stench of burning flesh erupts from nearby as you spot Melody. 3 burnt corpses, the other a small distance away, fall scorched to the ground. Even from here, it's clear to see that Melody isn't unscathed. It looks like she's been stabbed at least twice, blood staining her clothes. With the cultist dead, she rushes over towards you. Grace, if the cultist leader tries to get up, put another bullet in them. Grace nods, anxiously eyeing the body as it slowly re-knits its wound. Melody takes your hand and leads you to the edge of the ritual circle. We're going to try to reverse the effects of this ritual. It's risky. We either get it first try, or that's it. We either get it first try, or that's it. But we have no other choice. All you need to do is clear your mind, take a step forward, and repeat the words I say. If something tries to stop you, ignore it. It can't touch you yet. Not unless we fail. Okay, I think I'm prepared. Step forward when you're ready. Okay. As you step forward, the silence becomes a sudden barrage of swirling noise. A person's body lies curled up in the cauldron, spasming uncontrollably. Melody begins the spell. 3, 2, 1. I have to type? Oh no! Oh! Oh my god! I wasn't ready! I think I'll be fine though. The noise dies. The surface of the cauldron levels out. The candles puff out in a wisp of smoke. You did it! I can't believe it! A huge arm explodes from the surface of the cauldron, made of the black ichor, and slams into you. The impact itself barely hurts. It's the fall to the ground around you moments later. dissipating back into the vicious liquid. But the screams in your mind, you can hear them. It was going to stop them. You could have stopped them. How could you? Melody tosses her shoe at you. Baffled, you snap out of it. You find yourself holding your knife in your hand, raised near your throat. What were you doing? Melody lets out a sigh of relief. Oh! Grace fires her rifle and you both look over. Their arm, it moved! This time as you watch, the body shows no sign of regeneration. Not quite, the cauldron... Sorry, not quite, the cauldron. Get the girl out of it. You walk over and with some effort, you pull a whole person from the cauldron. They choke up on the ether as you lay them on the floor. Moving over, Grace checks their vitals. They look awfully pale, their heart rate is slowed, and their breathing is shallowed. But they're alive. Over the next few hours, you and Melody set about dismantling and destroying everything the cultists had created in the caravan. Using a radio found further in the caravan, Grace calls for help. 4 hours later, the police swarm the caves. Medics see to you and the girl, but the chief is nowhere to be seen. You burn as much as you can. The girl eventually wakes, but refuses to talk. The other victims' bodies were never found. Then, as a few days go by, riddled by guilt, the chief turns himself in. No one is sure why, but it seems like he now remembers something he once had forgotten. In their place, Melody takes over the police force until a new chief can be appointed. We barely talked to the chief. Well, we got victory. I did pet the cat. I did arrest the, I succeeded 18 out of 32 rolls, 56%. My highest skill was Aura. Yeah, it came to help me. Collected 4 items. I wonder if I would have went with the police chief, would Melody be the one at the end who would give herself in? I met the paint. Oh, can you not meet the painter? Oh, maybe because you would have to talk to Melody, and if you go with the police chief, you wouldn't talk to Melody or know about Damien and stuff. Okay. Interesting. So we did, interesting. View previous, what does that mean? Oh. Oh, there's, 16 endings? Oh my gosh.